I wasn't necessarily looking for it, but I've done a lot of healing. That was very necessary since the mansion. I really didn't know what it was like to be in a healthy relationship, and sometimes it feels foreign. But I believe that as long as you keep working on it, that your brain kind of rewires itself, and you can be in a really happy, healthy, healed place. Mm-hmm. I'm forever a work in progress, but yeah, I think it's good. I think that it feels very peaceful. It feels very protective and safe. And I think it's really important for, men and women to feel very safe. Yeah. And because we were set up through friends, I thought, okay, this is somebody that I could trust. This is somebody I could meet. So the first time I met him was at my farm. He came over to the farm, and he was just right off the bat, just first off, super handsome. And second, he was really playful, and I have waterfalls at the farm and streams, and he kind of just was playing around in them, and a tree had fallen into one of the waterfalls, and it has a little pool at the bottom, and he's like, oh, do you have a machete? I'm like, yeah, I do. And he gets in there and he cuts up the tree and takes it out for me. I'm like, this is cool. Like, that is so awesome. Because typical LA people will be like, oh, I'll call someone to help us. Yeah. And then one night he pulled out some fish, and he's like, oh, do you eat fish? I just caught this, I don't know, with his bare hands or something in the ocean. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I think there's something about somebody that feels very mature and manly, and that can take care of you. Yeah. And it's been refreshing to see. And he has a dog, and the way he cares for his dog is just so adorable. And I was explaining to my friends, wow, I was trying to explain that the way I feel, and they're like, oh, you found a real man? That's
So Crystal does everything with intention. There isn't anything that she does that's just casual or just by accident. My life, because I live on a tiny island and have for the last 14 years, my life is very simple by comparison. I love the ocean, and I've been taking people out and teaching them about the ocean for the last 10 years. It's been, every day, basically the same thing. And because I feel like that's sort of what I was tailor-made to do, it's been really easy for me to settle very comfortably into that groove. I'm good at what I do, and in the very small things that I do, I'm good at those things. And it's been really neat to meet Crystal and realize she's sort of forcibly pushed me out of my comfort groove, and forced me to sort of lean into the other talents that I have that I've been ignoring for a long time. And so I think another big reason why my connection with her has been so special is because the time that we spend together, rather than being performatory or extractive, everything that we're doing, or performative or extractive, everything that we're doing together is just sort of exaggerating each other's natural talents, which has been a really good feeling. And so, I'm 41, and I feel like all of the best is still yet to come. And it's crazy to be, more than half of what we're supposed to live on this earth and be like, oh, I'm confident that the best things are still yet to come. That there aren't very many things that she's not exceptional at. It'd be one thing if somebody's really pretty and you're like, oh, you're pretty, but then they're vapid, or they're callous, or they're careless. And the thing about Crystal is that she's smarter than most of the people she's in a room with. And then she's also, obviously she's stunningly beautiful, but more than that, there hasn't been a moment where I haven't felt looked after. I haven't felt cared for. And everything that she does with me in mind, which is a very peculiar thing for somebody that's never had that before. So it's really nice to be around someone that's always thinking of you and always placing you as a priority. I live on a tiny little island in the middle of nowhere, and everybody has a past, everybody has a history, and the reality is that I'm so disconnected from that world. I could be. And again, this probably sounds like nails on a chalkboard to somebody who is in the public sphere, and you do deal with people that are in, the celebrities or whatever. I couldn't be bothered. That whole side of things, it's a part of this world that it's like space. Like, it's arbitrary and it's out there, and I see it when I look for it. I can see space, but like the reality is that it's like way up there, and it's very cold and dark and not part of my regular life. And that's kind of how I feel about like that whole world. It's like, she came from a place that was very dissimilar to her, but because she's so good at it, so adept at being what she needs to be in any moment, like, she's able to navigate that side of this world too. But the part of her that I see and the part of her that I like isn't the world that she and I connect in. And even though that's part of her past, it's definitely, I don't see it as being a big part of our future. The reality is that, we're all aware of our surroundings, but the reality is that she's gone through so much, she's done so much work to heal from that. I feel like it's been a big point of pride for me to nourish and encourage the next chapter, as opposed to like really thinking or dwelling on the past. And so, I'm happy to leave that chapter as a profound but closed chapter, if that makes sense.